A very good afternoon and welcome to North Hobart Oval. It is Tasmania Representative Series. Today we've got the Hobart Airport SFL taking on the Northern Tasmania Football Association. My name is Tubes Taylor. A pleasure to have your company from wherever you're tuning in via the live stream. I'm joined today by Andrew Cooling. Good afternoon, Andrew Cooling. Well, still good morning.
Still good morning for a few more moments, Tubes, but it should be a lovely afternoon of football here at the home of football, North Hobart Oval in Tasmania. And, geez, it looks an absolute treat, this ground today. The ground is in magnificent condition. You wouldn't have kind of expected this for midwinter, but certainly going to be no excuses for the players. The sun is shining. The turf is in perfect condition. The stage is set for a massive game here in basically the grand final of this series, given that both sides have one win on the board.
And Erin Shivers, good afternoon to you. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are we?
It's great to have your company as we see the players lining up, getting ready to go. I'm sure it's going to be an enormous game of footy. And as you said, Andrew Cooling, the grand final essentially of this representative series. The players come together. You can see the coaches out there, Craig Grace and Ash Smith and Michaela Binns from the north. We're all fired up and ready to go. And we'll cross down for the national anthem momentarily. And as you say, it's a better day for football there hasn't been. Well, there you go. There's the rendition of a live performance of the Australian National Anthem. I'll find out who that is for you shortly. And there's a few changes to the sides today, Andrew Cooling. Emma Waller is out of the side after being a late inclusion to the game against the Northwest for the South. And Chelsea Barnes is out of the side as Chelsea Thomas comes in, and Evie Bingham, both North Hobart, so they know this ground fairly well. And there's a number of changes for the North. The ones that I've got, and forgive me if I'm totally wrong on this, is Georgia Bauman, Tyra Lett, Hannah Viney, Georgia Haberley, Lauren Stevenson, Liana Freestone and Ruby Hall are out of the side. And coming in is Kiana Lehman, Cassie Lefevre, Ashley Corbett, Ella Creswell, Liana Jura-Amy and Georgie Hogarth, Hannah Mitchell-Grimer and Hawaii Bauman, who all come into the side. So about 7 or 8 changes there, Andrew Cooling.
Yeah, significant. I suppose their game was a month ago now versus the SFL being 2 weeks ago, so more time for, I suppose, injuries and other things like that. But it's a significant change in personnel from the team we saw take the field when they beat the NTFA by 24 points about a month ago in that first of these representative series clashes. The SFL were pretty comprehensive in their victory over the NWFL, a 5-6-goal win a couple of weeks ago. So you'd say based on what we saw in game number 1, you'd have to make the SFL slight favourites, but with such, I suppose, different makeup of the personnel of the NTFA, perhaps you can't read too much into that first game.
If you missed it before, the toss had happened and Diane Krushka won the toss and selected to kick to the right of screen. Erin Shivers, you've been around women's football for a long, long time. What are you predicting here?
Look, I'm really excited about the battle in the middle today. I'm looking forward to seeing Hines, Lefevre and Corbett take it up against the likes of Webster, Clark and Barwick in the middle for the South. I think it'll be a really tight contest in there. There's some really good quality goal kickers on both sides, but Grace White had a day out against the Northwest, so that the NTFA are going to have to lock her down pretty early, right from the first bounce, to see what they can do there.
Just taking a look here through the middle. These numbers on the back of the NTFA, they're a horrible colour, Andrew Cooling. Why would you have blue on black?
The blue on black. I thought white would make more sense, but we'll endeavour to do our best.
Well, the umpire holds the ball aloft, and we'll leave it to Andrew Cooling to take it away for NTFA versus SFL here at North Hobart Oval.
So Freestone looking to get first use is immediately wrapped up by Smith. Perhaps a little undersized in the ruck there. Jaslyn Freestone looks like she'll do it. It was Letta who rucked in game number 1 up against Smith, but Freestone wins the first one down. Krushka on the bottom of that pack. She was pretty dominant in game number 1, trying to get out of there as Brouard, but going absolutely nowhere. So repeat stoppages to begin this clash. We can get the first clearance. Freestone reaches over for a third time. Now the NTFA will go forward via the boot of Radford. Sends it off in the direction of Sulzberger. Pursued by Lamb. Lamb gathers, dishes the handball off to Perry King. Her kick just got touched on its way there through to Freestone in the middle. Turning away with it now is Clark. Couldn't gather cleanly. Forced to apply a tackle from behind. Krushka dishes the handball out. That's a good one to Hill. Hill will loft them inside the forward 50. It's out the back in the direction of Hogarth. Bouncing in favour of Wagner though. She gathers, looks to turn away. Clears it out towards Sakina. Couldn't take the mark cleanly. That'll invite a little bit of danger, but Sakina follows up with a really good tackle. Got over the shoulder of Gillow. It'll be a free kick to the NTFA.
So Gillow looks for the first proper inside 50 for the North as they go long and deep, but Wagner sits underneath it. An ill-directed kick lands in the arms of the Clarence defender. She goes wide to a teammate in Archer. Archer from the back pocket goes short and finds Grace White. White at centre half back. Just looking to possess the footy here, the North. Goes out wider still. A little too much on it for Smith. She's got a bit of time here, but the boundary gets there. Handball came out to Lamb. Interesting little handball, more like a throw. Bit of rugby league about it. And the mark taken here by Murgatroyd. Murgatroyd, a little too far out for her normally. Kicks off, and Mitchell Grimer takes it at half back for the North. No real change of chance of scoring here for either side as the ball just sits there and they all sort of forget to go and get it, and in comes Angelica Clark and takes the ball.
So a stoppage, attacking side of the wing for the SFL here. Smith just goes unopposed in the ruck. Coming away with it was Webster. Put Clark under a bit of pressure though. Ball towards the middle of the ground now. They scrap for it, just into Limbrick trying to get a kick away. Couldn't quite do so. Krushka fires out a handball and found Hill. Hill down to Radford. Radford will drive them inside the forward 50. They look one out the back here. Taking the mark, playing on and kicking the opening goal.
Taisha Hines, I think.
Yes, Taisha Hines just stole the march out the back. Takes the mark, kicks the goal. Good fast ball use from the NTFA, and they get the first score.
The NTFA both their forward entries came from a loose player sitting in front of the footy, and the SFL need to be mindful of that. They've been able to flick that little kick or little handball out in front of the footy into the contest, and that's what's driving them inside their forward 50.
They've looked a better side in the early stages of this game. Here at North Hobart Oval, back to the middle. Change in the rucks. Bauman goes up against Smith. Bauman wins it down again. Running through is Clark. She can't gather the bobbling ball. Keeps tapping it against the grain of where she's supposed to go. Smith leaves it again for Clark, who's just swiped off it nicely by Sulzberger. Ball bobbling again at half-back. Pushing away, nicely done by Georgia Hill. She looks towards an open goal. Bouncing ball. Rolls through for a behind.
Just a little bit unclean below our knees there, the South. They need to tidy up those basic skill stuff.
So Maddie Lamb with some room to manoeuvre at half-back. Goes in the Barwick direction from behind White, but Krushka beat both of them. Strong start. The powerful captain of this NTFA side, Krushka. It's going to be good at 50 metres too. I think Limbrick might have gone in the protected zone. And that's going to march Krushka right within scoring range. And a chance for a second early goal here.
That's just a little bit of lack of awareness of where the ball is there by Jacinta Limbrick, and a horrible 50 to give away, because we know Deanne Krushka's an absolute beautiful kick of the footy. So you can almost mark this one down.
Well, she'll kick from 20 out directly in front. Should be no problems here for the NTFA skipper. And just eases it right through the middle. It's the dream start for the visiting NTFA side. 13-0. Both sides exploded out of the blocks in game number 1. themselves against the NWFL. That's the NTFA repeating the trick here against the South.
If you look at the scores, sorry, Aaron, if you look at the scores from last game, they kicked 2 goals 12, the North, against the NWFL. So they were thereabouts. Their accuracy probably let them down in the end. So they've come to play here today, that's for sure. Bauman and Smith to do battle again. Back in the middle, Clark just a little bit dubious with the footy. Lefevre goes forward again, leaves the ball behind. Clark's still thereabouts, got a handball out. Now it comes out for Webster. Webster can't get past Krushka. She does really well, gets a handball up, nicely done to Radford. Radford's kick is smothered. Bouncing ball here for the North, and they're out. Rush kick forward. I think that was Radford that got it forward. The collection point for the forwards for the NTFA is pretty good. They got numbers around the footy. Going past one way is Salzberger. She gets a handball, but it goes to no one. Now it comes out again. Running past is Lefevre. She gets her kick forward again. Bounding at the back is Archer. She clears the kick momentarily, but it's going out of bounds. It'll be a free kick going to the North.
Another forward entry from the North there, coming out of a player that's broken out of the contest early and sitting in front of the footy. So the South need to be mindful that they're dropping one out of the contest and picking them up quickly.
So under siege at the moment, the SFL, and there is no win to speak of, so that's certainly not contributing to this as they'll go forward inside 50 again, kicked into the pocket. It'll just slide out the back and trickle out of play. Probably a pretty good result for the NTFA at the end, can get a forward 50 stoppage.
The North just look like they've come down the Midland Highway, stopped somewhere for a good fuel up, and they are ready to go.
And they've certainly got the jump on the SFL here. Sluggish start from the home side. So this one's tossed in. Sakina lays the tackle, forces another stoppage. Just need to get their hands on the football at the moment. The South Bank's doing the ruck work. Won it down to Lamb, charges through the contest, kicks it up towards the middle of the ground. Bounces over a couple of heads. Battling in there is Mifsud. Unable to escape. It'll be tossed up in the middle of the ground.
So ball up right in the centre of North Hobart Oval. One down, Perry King, the recipient of a tap, wasn't really meant for her. Again, another contest. The defensive work of the NTFA is outstanding. It's picked up by Preshaw, and the umpire says, no, I'll take it.
Yeah, the NTFA are really quite physical in and around the contest, which is excellent, and that's what's winning them the footy at the minute.
Gillow gets her ball forward, bouncing ball for Archer. She tapped it off to the advantage of an opposition player in Hill. Hill can't gather, though. Going in again. Hines is in there, the goal kicker, and the umpire again circles and says, give it to me. Umpires today, of course, Hamish Johnson from the TFUA, Riley Donlan, and Jed Parnham. Krushka. We're saying it differently, you and I, and it wasn't even her. It was actually Georgie Hill that goes out into the path of Hogarth, and it'll be a boundary throwing. What are you rolling with?
Look, I'm going with Krushka purely because that was how an old cricket teammate of mine pronounced it, but I don't actually know 100%.
I knew Krushkas from the north, and they were always Krushkas.
Well, maybe it's different. Maybe it's different in the north. I'm happy to roll with Krushka. If anyone at home knows, please let me know. I'm happy to be corrected. As Archer just runs past that ball towed off the deck, trying to gather that one. Was Webster going nowhere?
I tell you what, I think Grace Lefevre's got maybe a job on Angelica Clark.
This one's palmed down. Pass the ball, Skroshka. King clears it out of there. They win the ball at half back here. Trying to bust her way through. It's Preshaw, send it up towards the half-forward line. Now they could be on out the back here. Here's the influential Grace White. It's a wide-open forward 50. She sends it in the direction of Molly Mitchell. Couldn't take the mark. Follows up. Can she gather cleanly at ground level? The situation nicely defended, though. Handball back into a dangerous area. Now a chance for White to straighten up and head for home. She puts it across the face, and a missed opportunity. And the SFL could have really done with a steadier there.
Yeah, it was Molly Mitchell's to gobble up and just unfortunately fumbled at the critical time. The defensive work of Creswell down there was excellent. So they look to bring the ball back through Harrison. Harrison's kick isn't great. Murgatroyd just went under the footy a little bit. Sakina gathers and gets a foot on the ball. Her kick didn't go 15, and the umpire rightfully said, no, Corbett, you've got to play on. And we'll see a ball up at half forward for the South. Creswell tapped it back cleverly, found Radford. Radford gave it off to Bauman. Bauman's kick is okay. Matty Lamb at the top of 50, looks up, kick wasn't great. Bouncing ball here, just eludes a number of players. The clever tap on. Not sure who that was, apologies. It might have been Weinberg. And we'll see a ball up. 20 metres from goal. Out it comes for King. King throws it on the boot. Bouncing ball out of bounds on the full.
Perry King just pushing up, starting in half back, moving up, trying to get involved a bit here. Influential player on this side. Was dominant against the NWFL. But the SFL just starting to get their hands on the ball a little bit and at least get the ball inside forward 50. But in arrears by 13 points as this one is sent wide. It's nicely marked in the end there by Bowerman. Plays on. Sends it up the wing. King juggling one. Couldn't quite reel it in. Handball out towards Matty Lamb. Immediately lost the football though. Sakina just forces it forward. Plenty of bodies back for the NTFA to repel. King once more through traffic. Sends it inside the forward line. And sliding in to take the mark is Mitchell. So an opportunity for Molly Mitchell. She is a goal kicker to go back and kick the steadier her side needs.
That's a really great option there. While it's really hot and contested, just driving the footy in at the minute and trying to lock it in is a really good move for the SFL.
So Mitchell, get her side's first of the afternoon, drives it, looks good off the boot. She is a noted goal kicker, Molly Mitchell, and she gets the SFL on the board. The margin back within 6 points. And that might just settle things down for the home side.
I think Perry King around the footy has been one of the cleaner attackers on the ball. She's had clean hands every time, and yes, her kicks have been rushed when she's been under pressure, but she's getting her hands on the footy, and Coach Craig Grace will be really happy with that. And it was a good mark to Molly Mitchell, just going back with a flight. Had a little bit of space there and plenty of torque, so was able to take the mark, and we're back in the guts. Smith wins it down again. Lamb comes through, has a handball up to Perry King. King's kick goes long and deep down towards Mitchell again. Same spot, slider angle. And she'll go back and have another shot from here. That was great work out of the middle. You could hear Perry King's voice from where we are. And in comes Molly Mitchell. Rinse and repeat. That one straight over the goal umpire's lid too. So 2 in a minute for Molly Mitchell. And the South hit the front. No, score's level. Settle down, Tubesy.
Really quick response there from the SFL, and they needed that really quick goal. They've mixed up their midfield there. They've popped Perry King in there to give some drive. He kicks along. They're deep. They're happy if they make it into the SFL's at forward 50, and they're happy to lock it in. But hitting up Molly Mitchell, who's taken some marks, running back with the play, is just terrific so far.
So the SFL go bang bang in the blink of an eye, scores a level after the NTFA had the better of the opening 10 minutes. An opportunity for them to respond here as Brouard sends them inside the forward 50. That's a strong mark coming out the football by Georgia Hill. Too far out to score. The Leeds present themselves. Hill wheels off to a right, almost ran into a little bit of trouble, sends it down towards the goal square. No one can get a hand on that, and it trickles out for a ball in. So 13 apiece.
They're setting up well behind the ball here, the North. They've got an extra number behind the footy, so that's clever football.
So it'll be tossed back in to a dangerous area, but ball cleared up towards the paint of 50. 3-on-1 in favour of the NTFA, but just unable to take it cleanly was Brouard. Limbrick immediately brought down. Crunching tackle from Hayley Brouard and forces a stoppage on the paint of 50.
That's that set up behind the football you spoke about, Tubes. Extra numbers right where the footy lands.
Smith, one down. Krushka tackled and got rid of it just. Stripped of it by Lamb. Bingham gets her kick forward. Mark almost taken by Bree Barwick. First time we've called her name. King shrugs the tackle. Gee, she's been electric today, and she's hit up another Molly Mitchell mark inside 50. Mitchell plays on quickly, wheels around, and kicks another one. 3 for Molly Mitchell in a quarter. And the South are up and about, fueled by Perry King and Molly Mitchell. This is an absolute show.
What a double act this is. 3 goals for Mitchell, 3 goal assists for King. Just long penetrating kicks. Mitchell keeps getting on the end of them. And the SFL, after being outplayed for the first 8 or 9 minutes, with a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, a little bit of rinse and repeat there, and it seems to be paying off really well. Molly Mitchell taking those marks that are going over her head, putting her towards the goal line. It's not an easy mark to take when it's coming up from the behind you, but she's nailed a few now and kicked 3.
So, it's the Molly Mitchell show here at North Hobart at the moment. Bingham couldn't quite gather that one. Trying to go forward now is Meg Radford. She'll send him up towards the half-forward line, and it's nicely taken there by Sulzberger. Sulzberger looks up inside the forward 50, sets it up, looking for Weinberg just over her head. The SFL should be able to mop up here. Oh, it's an ugly-looking kick, though. Just found its way to Limerick. A little off the side of the boot, but Limerick makes it work. She heads now in the right direction towards the wing. Hill got a hand up to break that one up. Barwick battling away at ground level with Corbett. And they fight a draw. It'll be tossed up on centre wing.
Brie Barwick got 2 knees in the head there, but she wants nothing else than that. She loves it.
She thrives on that tough in and under work. Here's Clark, dish the handball across there to Bingham. Bingham's unable to get anything on that, and then handed it straight to Krushka. Threw it straight to Krushka, who probably would have preferred an advantage, I suspect, but the free kick's going to go the way of Radford. And Radford can send the NTFA forward.
Radford, that's a clever kick. Sulzberger just got caught in the sunlight. She's got 3 to take on here now. King again, as if it's not her. She decides to kick it forward, not to Molly Mitchell this time. The kick's chopped off by the North. The handball popped out nicely. Ella Creswell just gathers the footy and gets jumped on by a number of South players. Through comes Krushka. Out the back it came for Hill. Barwick again with a knee in the chest. Just copped it and loves it. And we'll see a ball up. So a little bit of rugby league type action there and a rolling maul.
Yeah, Barwick did well there, 2nd and 3rd efforts.
Can't get the hands on the footy. There's Clark. Krushka got it out nicely to Breward. Breward's kick goes forward. Sulzberger can run onto this one if it sits up for her. She just took her eyes off the footy though. Ella Wagner came in and got a hand on the ball. Scooped up by Archer. Baldwin got a handball away looking for... Not sure. Wagner, I think she was looking for, and a tackle laid, so it'll be a free kick.
So the SFL will take over at half back here. Baldwin in the back pocket. Drives it outside the full defence towards Schultz. Takes a nice mark.
Free kick against. Pushing the back.
It'll still be the SFL's ball though, as White takes it and dish the handball.
In the wrong direction there.
Players aware which way it was going. Another free kick here. This one will also go the way of the SFL, so they can go inside forward 50 via Mifsud. She just pops one over the top wide for White. It wasn't a good ball though. It was the right idea, just not quite the execution. And the NTFA will take over on half back. So Mitchell Grimer heads centrally. Gillow driving it long. That's a good kick too. Smashes one over the top. Found Radford. And Radford now just looks to guide one short. Hill couldn't quite bring it down. White's kick was smothered. Ball in dispute on centre wing now. Pressure came from Schultz. Mitchell Grimer battling away at ground level. Clark on top of her. So too Schultz. Somehow Clark emerges with the football. Sets a high ball up towards the half forward line. Just volleyed out of the air there by Lefevre. Emerging with the football was Bingham. Clark again wins another hard ball and sends another high ball up in the Limbrick direction. Limbrick reels it in. She'll look to move the ball inside 50 quickly. Where's the dangerous Molly Mitchell? Well, coming away with it's White. White steadies and goes straight through the middle, and the SFL have another. It's been a furious response from the South. They've kicked 4 in a row. They lead this one by 12 points in the shadows of quarter time.
just efforts around the football there for the SFL. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't tidy, but they persisted. They jumped in on the contest. Angelica Clark coming out of, I'm not sure how she got hold of it, but coming out of there a couple of times out the back and just persisted to get it into the forward line and trusting their forwards to get on the end of it.
Angelica Clark with the sticky fingers around the contest was absolutely outstanding about 2 or 3 times there, and it's multiple efforts that led to that goal. Out it comes now. Krushka with a big roosting right boot, sends it long. Wagner worked her team player under the ball there, and that's the end of the term. So a really rapid start from the NTFA and a rapid finish from the SFL sees a 12-point margin in favour of the home side. 4-1-25, the SFL lead the NTFA 2-1-13. Goal kickers for the SFL. Grace White with the last one of the quarter there, but it was the Molly Mitchell show early. She had 3 in about 4 minutes. And for the NTFA, Taisha Hines kicked the first of the game, and Deanne Krushka with her only other goal for her side. How did you see that first term, Erin Shivers?
It was almost the tale of two sides, wasn't it? 2 halves. The NTFA attacked the centre clearances really hard and really rapidly at that first bounce and managed to get that player loose forward to drive the kick into their forward 50. However, Perry King was the game changer in the middle for the South that quarter. They moved her up into the middle and she managed to be able to get some really lovely clearances and drive the footy long and deep into Molly Mitchell, who kicked true.
What did you see, Andrew Cooling?
Yeah, it was a great response, and it was Perry King that really fueled it, and her move from kind of half back to get around the ball, started getting involved, and 3 times was just able to find Molly Mitchell. The NTFA defence has looked a little bit leaky under those quick balls coming in there. The SFL took full advantage. Probably both sides had a similar amount of inside 50s on time in attack. The SFL just looking a little more dangerous, and I think a lot of that was the ball use of King going inside forward 50, but a pretty open and entertaining first quarter, I thought.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of that term, I don't think the SFL could get their hands on the footy. There was a little bit of dew out there early, not a lot. The sun had sort of burnt that off in the early stages of the morning, but maybe a little slippery out there, I'm not sure, but it looked like they just couldn't get their hands on the footy. And then we saw Angelica Clark just with sticky fingers, bang, 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 a couple of contests where she was able to feed out a couple of quick handballs. Better players, Erin Shivers?
Oh, look, I think for the South, Perry King was the moment that it turned for them. But Krushka's been excellent too. She's been in and around it and having a real dip.
The biggest question is, are we going with Krushka? Are we going with Krushka? We'll find out a little bit later on. We'll take a quick break here from North Hobart Oval. We'll be right back with more Tasmanian representative footy as the SFL lead the NTFA by 12 points.
They scrap for it, just into Limerick, trying to get a kick away. Couldn't quite do so. Krushka fires out a handball and found Hill. Hill now to Radford. Radford will drive them inside the forward 50. They look one out the back here. Taking the mark play here. Taking the mark, playing on and kicking the opening goal.
Taisha Hines, I think.
Yes, Taisha Hines. Just stole a march out the back directly in front. Should be no problems here for the NTFA skipper. And just eases it right through the middle. It's the dream start for the visiting NTFA side. 13-0. Both sides are here. Here's the influential Grace White. It's a wide open forward 50. She sends it in the direction of Molly Mitchell. Couldn't take the mark. Follows up. Can she gather cleanly at ground level? The situation nicely defended though. Handball back into a dangerous area. Now a chance for White to straighten up and head for home. She puts it across the face, and a missed opportunity. And the SFL could have forces it forward. Plenty of bodies back for the NTFA to repel. King once more through traffic, sends it inside the forward line. And sliding in to take the mark is Mitchell. So an opportunity for Molly Mitchell. She is a goal kick. So Mitchell, get her side's first of the afternoon. Drives it, looks good off the boot. She is a noted goal kicker, Molly Mitchell, and she gets the SFL on the board.
So was able to take the mark, and we're back in the guts. Smith wins it down again. Lamb comes through, has a handball up to Perry King. King's kick goes long and deep down towards Mitchell again. Perry King's voice from where we are. And in comes Molly Mitchell. Rinse and repeat. That one straight over the goal umpire's lid too. So 2 in a minute for Molly Mitchell. And the South Lamb, Bingham, gets her kick forward. Mark almost taken by Bree Barwick. First time we've called her name. King shrugs the tackle. Gee, she's been electric today, and she's hit up another Molly Mitchell mark inside 50. Mitchell plays on quickly, wheels around, and kicks another one. 3 for Molly Mitchell in a quarter. And the South are up and about, fueled by Perry King and
The football was Bingham. Clark again wins another hard ball and sends another high ball up in the Limbrick direction. Limbrick reels it in. She'll look to move the ball inside 50 quickly. Where's the dangerous Molly Mitchell? Well, coming away with it's White. White steadies and goes straight through the middle, and the SFL have another. It's been a furious response from the
Welcome back. North Hobart Oval, Tasmania Rep Series. It is the Southern Football League leading by 12 points here at North Hobart Oval over the NTFA in our women's competition. Tubes Taylor with you, with Andrew Cooling and Aaron Shivers. What do you reckon the message was at quarter time, Aaron?
I reckon the message for the NTFA was to tidy up in the centre clearances and centre stoppages. So late in that quarter, Perry King got some space in there and was able to drive it forward, and the NTFA started so tight in there, so they need to bring back what they did well and fix that. I think for the South, it's to keep finding that space and trust themselves and back themselves into kicking it long.
Take it away, Andrew Cooling.
So underway in the second term. One down decisively there by Freestone. Ball will go forward for the SFL though, as Bingham sends them up towards the half-forward line. Tumbling ball for Mitchell, spilt out the back, and here's an opportunity for White. She straightens up and heads for her second of the contest. Just offline. The dangerous Grace White starting to loom large, but just a minor score there.
Hit the woodwork, unfortunately, as Hall brings the ball out. Long roost. Gee, Sakina nearly got pushed into the footy. She got tackled by Krushka. Out it comes for Sakina. She's going the wrong way. She gets told by her teammates. Kicks it down towards Barwick, who backed into a pack without care for her own self. She gives it off, and a kick goes forward nicely by Bingham, and it's just across the face of goal from behind. Bingham with the first score of the second term. Yes, it's Krushka, everyone.
Got confirmation on that. Well, not the only mistake, as was pointed out to me. I also said the NTFA beat the NWFL in game number one. That, of course, was not the case. Apparently, I've got the memory of a goldfish. It was the NWFL who were victorious in that one, so my apologies for that. As
that wasn't me that sort of...
No, I got the text about that one. What are you on about?
Who's telling you that? Who's India?
I'll keep their identity quiet for now.
Come on.
This one's worked on. No, look, it was helpful feedback. I was talking nonsense as the ball will be tossed in.
I'm going to say C. Rowbottom.
No, not C. Rowbottom.
Okay.
No ABC fact check. Anyway.
Back to the footy.
As the ball's tossed back into play here. One down by Smith, but coming away with it was Gillow. Flicked the handball out over the top. Lehman pressured by Sakina. Lehman now runs into the grasp of Perry King, who catches a cold, and that'll be holding the footy. Perry King continuing to wield significant influence over this contest, and she'll swing her side inside forward 50 up towards Mifsud. White was backing back, just got in the space of her teammate there as Hill looks to repel here for the NTFA. Kicks it out into space, an opportunity to gather for Hogarth. Just toes it forward. That was a good option because she had Hill in space. They've got a player wide open inside forward 50 here if they can work it up there. An opportunity now if it'll sit accommodatingly for Hines. Eventually does, but was closed down by Wagner. And coming across in support was Archer. Sakina can't take it cleanly. Under a little bit of pressure here is Agnes Sakina. She's got to get rid of it. Just does so in time. Now Lehman looks to burst through, gets her kick away. Not a whole lot of purchase, but found its way to Hines. And Hines, who almost had an opportunity moments ago, will now get a set shot for goal, and a pretty gettable one.
You just felt like that was going to happen.
Yeah. The NTFA was set up around the contest well. They pressured Sakina to cough it up there. She should have been able to take that and run off with that.
And Hines makes no mistake, so she gets her second of the contest. Once again, is the first goal kicker in a quarter as the NTFA close within 8 points.
And that's exactly the start that Coach Ash Smith and Michaela Binns would have wanted. A goal in the first few minutes, just to put a little bit of doubt in the minds of the South. So the ball makes its way back. The SFL 4-3-27 lead the NTFA 3-1-19. Just the two behinds for the South in this term. And it's 3 minutes 43 old. Ruck contest, one down by Smith. Couldn't quite gather the footy. Was Bingham, and it got rushed forward. Here's a chance for Mifsud. Mifsud bends one around the corner. I tell you what, this bounces, and it bounces through. It's a ripper. A little bit of Shane Warne action, some spin on that one, and first goal goes to Mifsud for the South in this term. She's such a good kick of the footy, and it rolled and rolled and rolled. It was magic.
A bit of a Miff special there. She loves those goals that are really unorthodox. She managed to get the ball to bounce in her direction the way she wants it to, and she can dribble one through.
I thought Sophie Harrison had it covered. She was in the right position, but it just bounced away from her, picked up speed. And the SFL out by 14 points now. The NTFA need the next one as they look to go forward here. Battling away for it. Trying to escape was Sulzberger. Locked up by Maddie Lamb. Murgatroyd doing the ruck work, coming away with it. Lehman sends him inside forward 50, cleared out of there by Banks, somewhat fortuitously found its way to Murgatroyd. Now flicked over the top for Preshaw, in a little bit of trouble, but they're able to work it back to Lamb through the hands of White, out the back now for Mitchell Grimer. Oh, sold into all sorts of pressure there. I think that's Freestone with the jumper change. It's quarter time, going from 14 to 16. She'll do the ruck work here, Freestone. High kick from Gillow. Sakina just whacks it onwards. Archer overrunning it, slapped into space. An opportunity now for Hogarth to send them forward. King Park back there. Sulzberger ran into trouble. Archer sticks that tackle and locks it in.
A ruck contest at half forward for the NTFA. It's one down. Clark couldn't quite gather. She does this time. Scoops it up to Lamb. Lamb gave it off to Webster. Webster back to King. King gets a handball. Nicely done to the advantage of Lamb, who shrugs past one, gives a handball to space. Now it's picked up here by Gillow, and she throws it on the boot. Going back with the flight there was Archer, but it dropped on her, and she did really well to take the contested mark at half back. Plays on quickly. Got tackled as she kicked. The kick goes out towards the advantage of Hill in the opposition colours. She goes one way, scoops the handball back to Brewer. Brewer with a little dinky kick looking for Freestone, but it's topped up by Murgatroyd in the two different coloured boots. I don't mind that. The kick goes long and finds White, who plays on quickly. The short kick is on to Mifsud, and she takes a contested grab. In fact, it's Limbrick.
Great passage of play there. It started with Rachel Archer taking that really strong contested mark down back and working it up and switching it through the middle of the ground.
So Limbrick for her first kick on goal. She's a beautiful kick of the footy. Just into Limbrick. But that one, she's just tugged it, and it's gone across the face of goal, through for a behind.
So the SFL firmly on top here at the moment. They were jumped by the NTFA, but they've been pretty dominant since. So Mitchell Grimer, clear defensive 50 here, and did so. Found Radford at half back. Radford now will send it up towards the middle of the ground, but Smith is there to intercept. Gets them moving quickly once again in the Grace White direction, was sandwiched between two. Sakina lays a tackle. Out in the tackle, umpire says I'll have it. Flicked out. Kick chopped off by Hill. Hill gives it to Krushka. Krushka up towards the middle of the ground. Archer well positioned through her hands. Bauman battling away with Archer. Archer had some support in the form of King, used it, and King with a lovely kick that finds Maddie Lamb. Lamb as the runner in the form of Preshaw. Preshaw guides them inside forward 50. Dangerous looking ball. Is that a free kick to Limbrick? There was a fair fistful of jersey there. And Limbrick will go back and see if she can learn from her previous attempt.
Just a little nervous there, the defenders, I think, to hold on to the jumper was probably unnecessary, but umpire well and truly saw it, and Limbrick will go back and have her second shot on goal.
Can extend the lead to 21 points here. It'd be a fairly handy break. Jacinta Limbrick this time completely catches it wrong and misses the lot. So a reprieve there for the NTFA.
So Alex Hall will take the kick from the back pocket as the ball has gone out of bounds on the full. Limbrick won't be happy with that. Normally so good with the footy. But they're getting it back by the looks of things. That one's out on the full too. So Limbrick from the pocket will get a second chance here. Needs to go to the corridor for mine. Why not though? Have a shot. The Robbie Devine pocket. She's hit it on the fat side of the belly, and this one will go okay. King just got caught in the sunshine. Through with pace. Who was that coming through? It was Clark. She's so good at that. Just getting the ball at one go. And there's a ball up. 25 out from goal. Freestone wins it down. Big tackle by Thomas. Laid, I think that was Gillow. No, apologies, it was Corbett. Ruck contest again. Thomas couldn't quite gather the footy. It's picked up by Krushka. Out it comes, I think that was Hill. Now a chance for Preshaw, who bends one back into the corridor. Grace White tracking the footy. She'll get there first. Taps the ball onto her advantage, then uses a bit of pace. Left foot kick comes into the corridor. Bouncing though, and the NTFA should clear.
So the clear and kick up to a big one-on-one. The two sevens opposed to each other. Sulzberger and Webster. Krushka just forces it out the back. Bursting through the contest. And they'll work it up towards that forward line, but they're well parked behind the ball at the moment, the NTFA. A kick through the hands of Sulzberger, and now Webster will look to send them forward. Has Mifsud all on a lonesome, takes the mark. Mifsud probably too far out to score, so just guides one centrally. Ball back into dispute. They'll try and clear the area here. It's a high ball out of there by Mitchell Grimer up towards the wing. Baldwin forced it forward but coughed it up, and that's a crunching tackle laid there by Bingham, and rewarded too. She made that one stick, Evie Bingham. On the home deck here, and we'll send them inside the forward 50 once more. The dangerous Mitchell lurking just over her. White's there and Limbrick. Well, took a cruel bounce for both of them. Spilled out the back in the end for Gillow, who clear the area, but again they cough it up. This time to Perry King. King wastes no time. Spies a teammate wide open in the form there of Smith. And Smith's going to get a chop of the arms free kick.
I'd like to see the SFL with a bit more composure in front of goal here. I feel like they've just rushed their kicks, or they've rushed looking for another option.
So Smith just opts to set this one up towards the square. Clark tries to emerge with the football and does so, and snaps truly. She's so good at ground level, Angelica Clark. And she has another one as the SFL move 21 points clear.
That one grab below her knees, Angelica Clark today. We saw a little bit fumbly early, but she's fixed that. And she, like you said, she sticky fingers. That ability to pick it up with one grab and have a snap there was just excellent.
She should have the nickname Grippo. She is just so good. Grippo Clark, we like that. And the margin now out to 21 points. The SFL 6-4-40 lead the NTFA 3-1-19. Back in the middle. It'll be Freestone up against Smith. Umpire's given a 6-6-6 warning, is it here?
NTFA are missing a player.
Oh, no, the SFL have got an extra one in their forward line. Chelsea Thomas was lining up at half forward. And you could hear the coach saying, sorry, Chelsea, my bad, my bad. That's hilarious. So the 5-6-5 warning. As the tap was beautiful from Smith to Barwick going inside forward 50. White strong. You just knew she had a name on it. Contested grab going back with a flight. They couldn't get their fist on the footy, the North, and Grace White will go back and have a shot at her second. She's got a hold of it, and it's hit the post. Second one for Grace White to hit the post this term, Andrew Calling.
Yeah, she's threatening, isn't she? They've just got... I feel like they've just got a few too many weapons down there for the NTFA to handle at the moment. It was Mitchell early. Now it's White who's looming large. They're just really marking everything that comes their way. This one cleared out a defensive 50. Krushka gets past
Candy.
one, sells some candy, and then thumps a kick forward. But Thomas is well positioned. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Follows up and comes away with the football all the same. Lamb was sold into a bit of pressure there. Feeds the handball back out towards Barwick. In the end, they're going to be forced to lock it in. And there'll be a stoppage on the wing.
You get the sense the SFL have got a bit of belief here.
Smith wins this one down. King looks like she's moved back onto the ball. Kick forward. Cut off though by Brouard. Brouard sends one into the middle. Archer just going past the football. Thomas able to gather it cleanly. Somehow merging with it though was Baldwin. Kick into the middle, cut off, and now an opportunity for the NTFA to go forward here. Creswell sends them inside forward 50. But the relieving mark taken by Archer. She does that so well. Leads the play really intelligently. They've got a 2-on-1 here, Lamb and Bingham. Lamb did ever so well. Got it back out to Bingham. Bingham down the line. Unopposed on the wing is Murgatroyd.
Murgatroyd with a quick handball at centre wing. Gives it off to Bingham. Bingham sends a high one up. Sitting underneath the footy, a good contest and lovely done by Corbett. They got the ball back, but guess who's there? Grippo throws it on the boot, heads down towards Limbrick. Pressure coming from Gillow behind. Limbrick keeps it in. The kick goes opposite direction to what she's going, but that's okay because Hayley Baldwin's sitting there at 50. She pops it on the boot down towards Murgatroyd. They just sort of raffled it and then no one won the prize. And Grace White copped one around the neck. The umpire said you ducked under it and we'll see a ball up.
Really good setup by the SFL around the 50 there to give Jacinta that option, but got to name your footy, I think.
Murgatroyd to White, who goes towards goal, and she's got her second. Clever stuff. Murgatroyd just had White in her pocket, sent it down into her arms, and then White quickly on the boot. Doesn't hit the post this time and sends it through the middle for 6 points.
White's so dangerous. The moment she gets a sniff, she's ready for it, wants to kick him.
She just had no one on her goal side then either.
No one near her. You can't be leaving Grace White all on her own near stoppage like this. Beautiful ruck work from young Murgatroyd, who's had an impact on this quarter. Just won it down, but you cannot afford to give Grace White that kind of space. She will punish you, and she has been dominant here in quarter number 2. This one's one down. Clark should be first to the ball, though. Is so. Slides in after it. Fired out a handball. Baldwin worked it across to King. King sends it in the Barwick direction, but to the favour of Hill. Ended up taking an accommodating bounce for Barwick, who sends the ball forward, and once again there's White, and get the free kick and immediately springs up, goes, drives it. Just too much on it for Murgatroyd, but she tracks it out the back. Can she gather cleanly, just overran it a tad. Nicely defended in the end by Lehman. Cleared away, back into dispute. An opportunity for the SFL here. Attacking the football was Webster. Now it's Bingham, couldn't take it cleanly. And there'll be a stoppage inside forward 50 here as Barwick emerges with it. Smith won it down. Clark again doing the tough in and under work. Forced it in the direction of Barwick. Might have got one in the back there. Umpire disagrees and will toss it up.
So a ball up at half forward. The ball hasn't really moved anywhere. Smith and Freestone. Freestone wins it down only as far as Barwick. Then it was swatted away from her. Handball came out from Mitchell. And Maddie Lamb goes towards goal. It's time for another North Hobart player to kick a goal here at home. A little celebration too from Molly Mitchell and Maddie Lamb. And Maddie Lamb gets her first. And it's raining goals here at North Hobart. 4 for the term for the SFL.
Certainly challenging for the NTFA because the SFL side here have so many multiple goal kickers that are playing right across the ground. We know Perry King can kick them and she's playing up, down back. Same with Chelsea Thomas. You got Maddie Lamb going back wing. This is so dangerous in and around that forward 50 for the SFL. The NTFA have got their hands full.
Well, they've kicked 9 of the last 10 now, the SFL, and lead this one by 40 points approaching half time. Chelsea Thomas can't quite gather, trying to bust through was Krushka. Thomas goes back in for it. Krushka battling away. Bingham stripped of the football. Lehman forces it forward. Thomas dropped one she maybe should have had, then got one over the shoulder, so she'll get the free kick. Just slipping up there was Weinberg. So Thomas from half back drives it in the direction of Mifsud, just over her head. Sulzberger couldn't gather. Webster now flicks it out to Lamb on the outside. Lamb sends them in the white direction. Hill under pressure from Murgatroyd. Did pretty well. Good tackle from behind though. Forced an errant disposal. The SFL will take the ball back, although the handball missed Perry King. Off the deck goes Hogarth. He'll be locked in for a ball up in the middle of the ground.
So just forward of centre for the North. I'd love to get a goal here in the closing moments of this second term. Smith, though, wins it down. Grippo just needs a little extra spray. Through come a number of NTFA players and left the footy behind, and we'll see a ball up. Tackle laid by Hayley Baldwin. Ball up right on the dot of North Hobart Oval. Hayley Baldwin tackles again. Ella Creswell can't get rid of the footy. He comes into the side from North Launceston this week. Bouncing ball out the back. Bingham throws it on the boot. Rush kick goes down towards Grace White. And strong mark by the North Hobart star. She goes bang towards goal. Going back with a flight and touching it into the post. We're going to call that a poster? Right on half time. So a big quarter for the SFL. They get 5 goals in the term. They lead by, what's that? 35 points in the end. Oh, hang on a minute. What's going on
Well,
here?
the ground scoreboard and the stream scoreboard are different.
Are they?
Yep. Ground's got it as 9,660. Our stream just showing 1 goal less.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think our stream score is correct. I've got 4 goals too. We'll find out at half time though. Goal kickers for the South. 3 to Molly Mitchell, who had them all in the first term. 2 to Grace White. 1 to Angelica Clark. 1 to Maddie Lamb. And 1 to M. Mifsud. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 8 goals. And for the NTFA, they can only manage the 1 in that term. Taisha Hines has 2 and Dion Krushka has 1. It is half time here in the representative series. Tassie footy at its best. The NTFA trail
Wherever cancer is, we are. We are the supporters, preventers, researchers and advocates, leading Australia to a future without cancer. Every day, we're finding new and better ways to offer services, share knowledge, and bring hope to Australians everywhere, because cancer affects us all. We're here to listen and care for people, however they need us, whenever they need us, through any type of cancer, at any stage of the journey. Every day, we are supporting world-class researchers, empowering them to dream big and make the impossible possible. Together, we're pushing boundaries, unlocking the answers to understand, prevent and treat cancer. We're improving the lives of those living with it, and even getting close to eliminating some cancers altogether. You may not see us, but we're here, in schools and people's homes, on the beach, at work and on the streets, helping millions of Australians cut their risk and detect cancer sooner. We know that 1 in 3 cancers can be avoided, so we're out there preventing as many as we can. You may not hear us, but our voice is loud. Every day, we're using it to advocate, change laws and drive policies, to reduce cancer risks and improve cancer care, to break ground and speak for the community in places where they're not always heard. Every day, we're closer to a future without cancer. And as a charity, we rely on Australia's biggest hearts to help us get there faster.
Blunston's been building hard-working boots for over 150 years. The tougher you need them, the tougher we build them, giving you advanced protection and all-day comfort. After all, you never stand still, so neither do we. Blunston, building the future.
Oh, you mean the jam and cream? Good stuff.
Go!
And one for you as well. Got it.
Original glazed. Classic.
At Banjo's, we speak donuts. Introducing our new range of flavours. Now there's one for everyone. Banjo's, making donuts better.
Just does so in time. Now Lehman looks to burst through, gets a kick away. Not a whole lot of purchase, but found its way to Hines.
The NTFA was set up around the contest well. They pressured Sakina to cough it up there. She should have been able to take that and run off with that.
And Hines makes no mistake, so she gets her second of the contest.
It's 43-all. Ruck contest, one down by Smith. Couldn't quite gather the footy. Was Bingham, and it got rushed forward. Here's a chance for Mifsud. Mifsud bends one around the corner. I tell you what, this bounces, and it bounces through. It's a ripper. A little bit of Shane Warne action, some spin on that one, and
King wastes no time. Spies a teammate wide open in the form there of Smith, and Smith's going to get a chop of the arms free kick.
Or they've rushed looking for another option.
So Smith just opts to set this one up towards the square. Clark tries to emerge with the football and does so and snaps truly. She's so good at ground level, Angelica Clark.
off, and Grace White will go back and have a shot at her second. She's got a hold of it, and it's hit the post. Second one for Grace.
Baldwin kick into the middle, cut off, and now an opportunity for the NTFA to go forward here. Creswell sends them inside, forward 50.
See a ball up.
Really good setup by the SFL around the 50 there to give Jacinta that option, but got to name your footy, I think.
Murgatroyd to White, who goes towards goal, and she's got her second. Clever.
Umpire disagrees and will toss it up.
So a ball up and half forward. The ball hasn't really moved anywhere. Smith and Freestone. Freestone wins it down only as far as Barwick. Then it was swatted away from her. Handball came out from Mitchell. And Maddie Lamb goes towards goal. It's time for another North Hobart player to kick a goal here at home. A little celebration too from Mike.
Dad, it's nearly time for holiday program.
About to get back underway here at North Hobart Oval. And they have fixed the scoreboard. So it is 8-6-54 to the SFL. The NTFA a 3-1-19. A plus 35 margin in favour of the home side, the SFL, as we approach the third quarter here. Andrew Cooling can take it away.
So can the NTFA launch a massive comeback, or will the SFL continue on their way? Webster battling away here with Hill. Hill toes it inside forward 50. Webster goes back in, spills out behind. Krushka outside of the boot. Will it stay in for Bauman? Just. Bauman plays on quickly, centering ball to a hot spot, almost brought down. Ball at ground level. Archer just missed the target with the handball. Bauman back after this one under pressure from Thomas. Just works underneath the football. And then Schultz locks it in. Forces a stoppage.
How bright is Thomas's stack hat today? Wowee.
It's a clean look as this one's out towards Hogarth. Under pressure from Schultz. Hogarth had 3 to beat. How's the umpire see that? Contact below the knees would go against Hogarth. Free kick going the way of Sakina.
Sakina gives off the handball to the running Perry King. Right foot shoe going long and bouncing out of bounds. Will that be a free kick? It will be to the north. As the ball jumps into the George Miller stand. Well, Sophie Harrison has to get someone to gather the footy for her. And she gives it off to Mitchell Grimer. The hyphen of Mitchell Grimer goes short. Nice mark taken by Bruard. This is what they haven't been able to do today, is just possess the footy. There's been a lot of rush kick to contest as Thomas sits underneath it, goes through her fingertips. Stacey Schultz just with the double fister, ends up going and getting the footy again, gets a kick away towards Sakina. Sakina handballs off to no one in particular, then goes back to get it. And the umpire circles and says, give it to me, as Ella Creswell takes the footy. Rucks go at it again. Lamb, been busy. Gets smashed in a tackle by Bruard. And the umpire says, no, we'll ball it up again. A gain of about 10 metres there for the North. Rucks go at it again. Really congested here at North Hobart Oval. And another ball up. So about 4 ball ups in the space of about 15 seconds here. Need to get some space. Bingham goes one way through traffic, gets her kick forward. It lands in the middle of North Hobart Oval. Limbrick just got stripped off it. Mitchell Grimer does really well, holds her hands up high and then shoots one out towards her forward line. Bouncing ball here, Perry King gives chase. Salzberger hot on a hammer. King does really well, gets a nice shepherd from Schultz. Schultz with a clever touch on, down behind plate is Salzberger. Smith gets it away, only as far as Hill, who throws it on the boot. Bouncing ball, Wagner just left it behind. Goes back in to get it though. Now the umpire circles and says, give it to me.
Wagner and Archer did really well there. They were 3-on-2 in a really dangerous position, so they did well to force that ball up.
Smith gets the better of Bowman. Perry King gathers, balks, and just lost a hold of the football. Goes back in. Krushka trying to bust her way through. Umpire will have it. The NTFA kick the first goal in each of the first and second quarters of this game. In dire need of the first one in quarter number 3, but Clark will clear this one away up towards the middle of the ground. Hall does well to juggle the mark and will pump them inside the forward 50 here. Spoiled by Weinberg. Thomas didn't get too much purchase on that clearing kick. Bruard couldn't gather and enabled Webster to just whack it on out of there and found the impressive young Murgatroyd. Takes the mark, defensive side of the wing. Just waited and then kicked it into a bit of trouble. Goes back, flicks the handball out. Bingham hands it off to Sakina, trying to bust through the tackle over Radford and couldn't do so. Radford gets there and gets the free kick. And they'll take over defensive side of the wing.
Great tackle.
Yeah, great defensive pressure there from the NTFA. They worked really hard there and forced that tackle to hold the ball.
Radford's been good. She gets called to play on now. A little too much on it. Schultz couldn't take the mark. Salzburger's in there. Smith gathers, and we'll see a ball up just forward of centre on the wing for the NTFA. Freestone and Smith. Freestone wins it down. Only as far as Lamb. Lamb got it away. Mifsud dropped what she should have taken, then went back and had to go and get it. Preshaw gave a handball away, just missed a number of players going for the footy. Picked up and cleared by Georgia Hill. Bouncing ball though for Preshaw as she wheels around onto the right foot. Should have been a left foot kick. She kicks it down towards Grace White. Got pushed away by Mitchell Grimer. Now the ball's with Salzburger. Wasn't at all Tubesy. It was actually Hall, and we'll see a ball up at half forward. Rush kick came out from Steph Smith. Mifsud again, just dropped the footy. Just pops out the back. Hill dives on the footy, Hall rather, and we'll see a ball up again. Not really much doing here. Even numbers behind the footy for the South. Now a chance for Preshaw, who runs to 15, and maybe a hold off the ball. I think Sakina's going to get the footy. She will. It'll be right on a distance, I reckon, for Agnes Sakina. Doesn't kick many goals, Agnes Sakina, but she's a great footballer. A number of leads come for her. Now she gets called to play on. Long kick to the teeth of goal, and going back with a flight. Grace White tried hard, and it's rushed over the line for a behind.
Hotly contested start to the third, and you expected that. You expect that from the North to lock it down and try and just win the bit of that grunt work.
The ball drilled outside of defensive 50. Sulzberger takes the mark at half back. Handed it off to Hall. Looks to try and dance around Schultz. Krushka gave it back to Sulzberger under pressure. So forced to kick into the middle of the ground where the numbers favour the South. That's going to be a free kick going the way of Barwick. Barwick spies a teammate in space, heads there. It was a good ball for Mitchell, who immediately turns and goes. She's got plenty of numbers inside forward 50, but just shanked the kick a little. And they should be able to clear away here. Radford, nice ball, finds Sulzberger. Sulzberger will head towards Bowman. Bowman spilt the chest mark. Might invite in Archer. A little ungainly from Archer in the end, and just gives away the high free kick in the process.
Little issue there between the umpires, I think. Just non-controlling umpire called that one.
Bowman kicks into the corridor and found Freestone. He's got the new jersey, which I'd say is probably due to the bit of bleeding out of the nose, as this one's worked out the back. Might spill for Weinberg. Didn't quite. And they'll lock it in. It'll be tossed up inside the forward 50.
So
the NTFA would do really well to sort of slow the pace of the game from this moment forward. Take their possessions, slow the pace, kick to mark stuff.
the rush kick from Weinberg goes over the line for a boundary throw-in. So another reset here, deep inside forward 50. There's so many numbers around the ball for the South. They've got numbers behind the footy to the north. Barwick into the Krushka tackle. We'll see another ball up. Sakina gathers, but it's coming straight back in the form of Hill. Hill can't take the mark, or gather the footy rather. Freestone can. She kicks up towards Salzburger. Salzburger shrugs past Sakina, pops it on the boot. Sitting underneath on that one was King. Wagner dropped the footy, so did Thomas, and it comes out for King. King's kick goes long down towards Mifsud. Worked under the footy nicely. Now a chance for Krushka. Sells a bit of candy, but sold herself into trouble. Got a touch on. Bree Barwick going back with the ball. Gets a handball. No, rushes the kick. Mifsud, the recipient. She looks up. Goes long down towards Limbrick. Limbrick did really well. Protected the zone nicely. Grace White with a rush kick. Down towards Murgatroyd. Couldn't take the mark. She wheels around. Gave a handball over the top to Mitchell. Mitchell shrugs the tackle. Gave a handball back to Murgatroyd. Missed the mark, but Grace White from 25 metres out goes bang and misses. 2 goals, 5 for Grace White.
It's been the only part of a game you can knock her on, really, the conversion. She certainly loomed very large. Been able to win the ball inside forward 50 at will this afternoon. Her side 37 points ahead as we tick towards the halfway mark of quarter number 3. Surging kick outside of defence. Sakina just watch that one trickle across the line. You can gather and send them back inside forward 50 here if she chooses. So Sakina. Umpire's whistle goes.
Calling for a throw in.
Looks like they're going to reverse the Sakina decision and go for a ball in after a bit of a delay. Took them a while to come to that conclusion, but eventually they're going to toss it in.
Let them play, Andrew.
Anyway, that one eludes Smith, taken by Sulzberger. Under some pressure here. Umpire says a throw. Free kick going the way of the SFL. And an opportunity for Smith to send them inside once again. Does so. Dangerous ball. Mifsud lurking. All spills out. Hill tries to clear. It was shut down by Mifsud. Hill following up at ground level. Handed it off to Freestone. Freestone with a probing kick up towards the middle of the ground. Through the hands of King. Went back and got it. Now Archer. Outside of the boot. Just works one up towards the half forward. That's a great mark from Molly Mitchell. And she immediately plays on. Pumps it deep. Bounces off the chest of Mifsud. Follows up. Handball over the top towards White. White is caught. That's got to be holding the footy, doesn't it? No.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, umpire saying no prior. I thought tried to skip round.
Alex Hall should feel hard done by there as Smith does battle in the ruck. Hall goes back in to gather the footy, gets tackled immediately by White, and we'll see another ball up. Yeah, just looking at the replay there, Alex Hall from Scottsdale ripped off. Freestone won it down. Sakina goes through 4 Northern players, gets it on the boot. Rolling ball out the back. Here comes Corbett. She got a handball out towards those 4 players. Sakina's still battling against 4 of them. She sort of threw that one away. Now a chance. Limbrick over the footy. Dragged it back in. Umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. I've got numbers around the footy, the North. Murgatroyd. Freestone won it down. Krushka gets past Sakina and then receives the handball back. Clears the immediate danger and it's coming back through Wagner.
Wagner centering ball finds Barwick with a nice sharp ball just outside the paint of 50. Barwick assesses her options and drives it in just over the head of Mifsud, and Hall able to chop it off. Where to now though? And numbers parked behind the football, which doesn't present a heap of options forward of centre for them. So kicks to a contest in the middle of the ground. King trying to bust through a couple of tackles. Hill battling away. Lamb, high ball inside forward 50 and again intercepted. This time Lefevre, she heads wide, kicks towards the 2-on-1 though. Smith will come away with it. Pumps them inside once more. Too much on it for Murgatroyd. Mitchell lurking out the back, but trickles out of play for a ball in. They've stemmed the bleeding this quarter at the NTFA by dropping players behind the ball, but it has made life tough for them trying to move the ball up the field.
Only 1 point scored in this term.
Been a real stalemate this quarter, but that suits the SFL just fine with a 6-goal lead. Murgatroyd doing the ruck work. Paddles it towards the line. Lefevre. Handball off to Krushka. Been busy all afternoon. That's a nice ball. Finds a marking target at half back in Radford.
Radford wheels around, sends a short ball and just overcooked it. Webster couldn't gather. Number of players around the footy. It's going to be a high one. Free kick, Sulzberger. 2 of the great names in football out there today with Sulzberger and Murgatroyd. Sulzberger's kick was a good one, going long. Lamb needs to get rid of it, does so. Gives it off to Archer. Archer's kick looking for Baldwin, who did really well to form a contest amongst 4 different Northern players. Wagner kept running. Now a chance for the North as they go forward through Hill. Over the head of a number of players. Can't gather down there. It was Hogarth. and it's cleared by Stacey Schultz. Schultz's kick is marked nicely by Harrison. Harrison looks up. A rushed kick in the end, goes amongst 4 or 5. Hogarth came over the top. The ball just landed in her lap, and she was a little surprised by that. The umpire circles and says, give it to me. Look at the numbers around the footy right now. There are so many Southerners around the ball. Ruck contest again. Crushgut trying to get through Smith. And Webster, I think. And we'll see a ball up again.
So the NTFA edging towards the forward 50 here, trying to get the first goal of this third term. Smith and Freestone. Freestone wins it down, looks to follow up at ground level. Sulzberger. Barwick gets the clearing kick though, just puts it out into space on the wing. And a foot race develops. First to at White, slick hands to Sakina. Sakina's kick should favour Gillow though, who's able to wheel back with it. Her kick was charged down by Limbrick. Clark is sandwiched between a pair of tacklers. It forces stoppage.
Grippo Clark's out of this game a little bit more, but she's still about the mark. Ruck contest on. There is Grippo right on cue. Out it comes now for Baldwin. She got a handball away, only as far as Barwick, who rushed to kick forward. The North just a little bit sloppy there. It was Mitchell Grimer, and we'll see a ball up. 37 points the margin. And it comes again, the North, just with a clearing rush kick. Barwick going back with a flight, courageously takes the mark. There's so many numbers inside forward 50. She just dinks a little one, looking for a teammate in Webster. Webster gave the handball back towards Preshaw. Preshaw just ducked on the tackle and got it forward. Now a chance for Mitchell. Mitchell's kick goes long and out of bounds on the full. No bounce. As the crowd starts to come in.
Yeah, they just can't seem to clear it. Well, they've got numbers in behind the footy, don't they, the NTFA. They just can't seem to clear it out of the 50.
It's been a very congested game in this third term. Only 3 minutes plus change remaining. Still yet to see a goal in this quarter. Oh, tossed back into play. Can that change here? Smith doing the ruck work. Takes it out of the ruck contest. Kicks up towards the top of the square. Going off the ground, miffs it. Limbrick tracking this one. Keeps it in. And then locks it in. So another stoppage. The SFL knocking on the door here. Smith, Bauman. Smith won it down. Harrison just threw it out. Bauman ears it away. Battling away at ground level. Ball forced towards the line. Gathered by Murgatroyd. Clark. Rare time she wasn't clean today. Still came away with a football. Spoiled out of play by Limbrick.
What do we think of the name, Grippo? I like it.
I'm liking it. I think
I
it's
like
good.
it. I really like it.
I think Jelly will like it too, to be fair.
Oh, I mean, Jelly's just an extension of her actual name. And Jelly's slippery. Grippo, sticky. I suppose Jelly could be sticky. And it comes now. Limbrick, bouncing ball towards goal. Through for another behind. So just the 3 behind scored in this term. And they've all gone the SFL's way. They've kept them scoreless so far, the South. They've kept the North scoreless, that is. Kick came out nicely by Gillow. It was a beautiful kick, but there's a number of players around the ball. Now a chance for Hill, who throws it on the boot, gets it towards Mitchell Grimer, who will get the handball up from Lefevre, but again ran into a Maddie Lamb sandwich. Schultz burrowing in, off the ground. Might have been Murgatroyd that got it forward. Perry King, clean, and the kick chopped off by Lehman.
3 SFL forwards in there, but picked out the one defender there, Perry King. This one's cleared up towards a contest, off hands out the back. Lehman just got boots the ball. Murgatroyd been busy this quarter, handed it off to King. King sends it up towards the paint of 50. White busted through one, handed it off to Preshaw. Preshaw turns it over.
Lehman.
Fever clear this one away. Picks it up outside defensive 50. Can they generate something back the other way here? Bowman. High ball up towards the wing. Not quite able to mark, but coming away with it. Hines sends it forward. Weinberg in a one-on-one with Archer. Archer just paddles it out into space. Support arrives. The umpire's hovering here, and Pay's holding the footy, so perhaps a late opportunity for the NTFA. It's going to be Weinberg too far out to score. Can she find a target here? Dying embers of the term. Sets it up to a contest, and plucking the mark is Hines, who won't want to play on here as the siren was imminent. And she'll go back and kick after the siren and see if we can get the first goal of the quarter.
Well, it's against the flow of this term. It's been played the majority inside the SFL's forward half.
So Hines gives it a ride. I don't think it'll have the journey, though. Doesn't trouble the scorers. So a goalless third term at North Hobart. That suits the SFL just fine. They added 3 behinds to the score. They lead this one by 38 points at three-quarter time. And after a pretty free-flowing attacking first half of football, that was anything but.
Yeah, it was scrappy, it was sloppy, it wasn't great, was it, Erin?
It wasn't. It was absolutely opposite of what we discussed at halftime too, talking about how there was plenty of scoring opportunities in that first half. It was nice to see that free-flowing play and scoring opportunities. Sure, it was going the South's way, but it went to NTFA's way early in the first term. But that quarter was absolutely the opposite. It was ball up, it was scrummy, it was hard work. But it's arm wrestle footy, so it's be interesting to see what the fourth quarter brings for us.
We'll go through the goal kickers for the South. 3 to Molly Mitchell, 2 to Grace White, then singles to M. Mifsud, Maddie Lamb and Angelica Clark. For the NTFA, 2 to Taisha Hines and 1 to Deanne Krashka. We'll take a break here at three-quarter time. It is the South by 38 points in Tasmanian rep.
All right, I suppose I can drive you. Yes.
Doing here, even numbers behind the footy for the South. Now a chance for Preshaw, who runs to 15, and maybe a hold off the ball. I think Sakina's going to get the foot. A number of leads come for her. Now she gets called to play on. Long kick to the teeth of goal, and going back with a flight. Grace White tried hard, and it's rushed over the line for a behind. Long down towards Limbrick. Limbrick did really well, protected the zone nicely. Grace White with a rush kick. Down towards Murgatroyd, couldn't take the mark. She wheels around, gave a handball over the top to Mitchell. Mitchell shrugs the tackle, gave a handball back to Murgatroyd, missed the mark, but Grace White from 25 metres out goes bang and misses. 2 goals, 5 for Grace White. Slippery, Grippo, sticky. I suppose Jelly could be sticky. And it comes now, Limbrick, bouncing ball towards goal, through for another behind. So just the 3 behind scored in this term. Welcome back to North Hobart Oval for Rep Series footy. It is the Southern Football League taking on the Northern Tasmania Football Association. My name's Tubes Taylor. Pleasure to have your company from wherever you are watching. Well done to our boundary umpires today, Jove McKenna, Tom Groom and James Marsh. Now in goals we've got Jason Nichols and Ethan Shelton. Great job and we've got representatives from the Northern Tasmania Footballing Umpires Association and the Northwest Umpires Association, which is great to see in Hamish Johnson, Riley Donlan and Jed Padman out there umpiring today. It's a commanding 38-point lead to the South at the moment. Aaron Shivers, can the North do something and get back into this game?
Well, they really need to go back to having that number in front of the footy and actually attacking the game and taking the game on, rather than locking it down like they did last quarter.
Andrew Cooling to take it away.
On the way in the final term here at North Hobart Oval. Sun beating down. It's a wonderful day for football here at North Hobart. Murgatroyd having a run in the ruck. Start things off in the final term against Freestone. Freestone wins this one down. Unable to win the immediate clearance though. Chelsea Thomas locks it in there. They'll go again. Freestone beautifully down. Forced forward by Hall, but Archer Park behind the football just skips past Hill and then launches up towards the middle of the ground. Might have been a push there on Lefevre. Nothing doing. Coming away with the football are the SFL. They'll fire it towards the half-forward line where Grace White was lurking. Handed it off to Lamb. Lamb stabbing in short. Limbrick couldn't quite reel it in, but she gets the rebound and Limbrick fires it through the middle. And the SFL get a quick one to start things off in the final quarter and extend their lead to 44 points.
Great tackle from Molly Mitchell.
Absolutely. It starts there, and then you've got Maddie Lamb, who's been so busy all day, just running in support and delivering a lovely kick into that forward 50 for Jacinta to have a second stab at it and kick the goal.
Yep, first goal for Jacinta Limbrick, and it was a real team goal, as you said, Aaron Shivers. And the margin now pushes out to 44 points. Murgatroyd and Freestone to do battle in the middle. Two of the future stars of Tasmanian footy. Murgatroyd out of the ruck. Krushka got it away and caught one high according to the umpire, so it'll be a free kick going to the North. Krushka's got a player out wide in Breward, but now she's picked up. And now she shrugs past Bingham who lays a great tackle. Talk about stars of the future. Hall was dropped the footy. Krushka goes back to get it. It was tapped on there by Corbett. Corbett gets it out wide. And Breward sends it forward. Sitting underneath the footy was King. King got it up to Lamb. Lamb looks up, gave the handball over to Archer. Archer, almost as she does every week off half-back, sends it long and Mifsud takes the mark. Contested grab at centre wing. Tells everybody to just slow it down a little bit. Now she looks up. She's got a Limbrick lead and overkicked it, but now Limbrick can give it off to Grace White. Decides to just muck around with it and send it up towards Mitchell. And Molly Mitchell's got her fourth.
No. Touched.
Oh, come on. Come on. That was a goal.
The goal umpire had a pretty good view of that one.
What off the kneecap, you reckon, Andrew?
Well, there was no protestation from Mitchell. I must say from our angle it looked like goal, but off the knee is what the umpire's gone with, and on replay probably a good call.
Out wide now for Harrison, and they send the ball to centre wing.
And there is Perry King, who takes the intercept, and she looked to drive them into the middle of the ground. Just missed Barwick with the kick though. Freestone intercept, handed off to Krushka. Krushka looks to bust her way through some traffic, but turns it straight over to Banks. Or rather Schultz, and Schultz just stabs one short. King again, been prolific. Found Bingham, speaking of prolific. She's had a real impact coming into this side today. Her kick just short of Lamb, but gathers and now stabs it across to Archer. Just peeled away, getting a hand in the way though. Coming away with it was Preshaw. Preshaw kicks it right down the throat of Harrison. Right behind the football, takes the relieving mark, sends it wide for Hall, who's just got a little bit of room here at half-back. Keep it moving down the wing. Too much on it for Creswell. Freestone. Back to Creswell. She's going nowhere, and she's pink for holding the football. The free kick will go the way of Evie Bingham.
She's been outstanding.
She really has, Bingham. That kick not her best work, but some numbers at half forward for the South. Lefevre stripped of the football, holding the ball. The SFL with a free kick at half forward.
Bree Barwick looks up. She's got a short lead on and is ignored. Keep coming to Jacinta Limbrick. Keeps calling for it. And now runs herself into a bit of trouble. She does that quite a bit in the TSL. Here's now Grippo Clark, who wheels around, bends it, and that's going to land in the arms of Limbrick.
Just a terrific pick up there by Grippo, if we're going to do that. And just to square it up and pop it up in the goal square, that's a perfect spot for a full forward.
I don't think she should be on this angle, but the umpires are in the right spot, and Jacinta Limbrick goes back and kicks the goal. She's got a couple, and they're both in this term. And the margin now out to 50 points.
It's
50,
the head.
60 points, 51 points. I don't know. Look, you can take it away, please.
It's the headache that we spoke about earlier in the game for the NTFA is the SFL side have such talent that in front of goals. There's players that love to kick a goal that aren't necessarily your standard forwards. So goal kickers across the board are broad, and that's really hard to cover for a side.
10-10-70, plays 3-1-19. It's 51 points for those doing the math.
So back to the middle. The SFL with the first 2 goals of the second half, indeed, after a goalless third term. Murgatroyd beaten by Freestone in the ruck, but Murgatroyd got a half clearance, sent it straight up in the air. Busting through was Clark. Just came through the contest cleanly, sent in the Grace White direction. Will it sit for her? It does. She straightens up. She'll go back and kick another, will she? Of course she will. Grace White continuing to dominate here at North Hobart Oval and extends the lead to 57 with her third of the afternoon. They've had no answers for her inside forward 50 today.
You see how dangerous the North Hobart girls, they live and breathe this ground, and they've won 3 flags here in the last 3 years, and they know this ground so intimately that they just know how far they can kick, when to hit that mark and what to do, and you see them running a bit of a muck today.
Wow. She's such a good user too, Grace White. Just really clean hands. And then the finish too was outstanding. Back live. Barwick can't get past Krushka. Krushka with a hold will give a free kick to Barwick, but Maddie Land takes the advantage. Short kick down towards Clark. Clark somehow got a hold of it. No wonder. Dribbles it forward. Now a chance for Limbrick. Limbrick with a little rush kick. Bauman in trouble. Got a hold of it as Molly Mitchell, and we'll see a ball up. So Bauman up against White. Bauman does well. White kept her feet, kept her eyes on the footy, gave it off to Mifsud. Mifsud bends one around the corner. It's through. And Mifsud kicks her second. She had one in the second term, and now she's got one in the last. And it's getting to an absolute drubbing here now.
Feels like the dam wall has burst open here in the final term. 4 goals already. 4 goals in the first, 4 goals in the second. Didn't get any in quarter number 3, but they've kicked 4 in the opening 7.5 minutes here, and they just look like kicking another one every time they go inside 50 right now, the South. The NTFA, 63 points back. They know their race is run, but the SFL looking to just really run up the score here at the moment. As in the middle, Krushka has not stopped working in the midfield. Webster, kick towards Clark, who continues to dominate. She'll send them inside forward 50 again. Limbrick on a searching lead, goes deeper instead and finds Mitchell. And there might be another one coming up here for the SFL. They are running rampant right now.
She kicked all 3 goals in the first term from this spot at the opposite end of the ground. So this should be no trouble for Molly Mitchell.
They've clamped her down since then, but others have stepped up. But Mitchell for a 4th of the contest. Drives it through the middle. It's another one. It's 5 goals in the opening 8.5 minutes of the final term. And it is an emphatic 69-point lead now in favour of the SFL.
What I liked about that is that someone in the crowd just called out, goal. That's great. That's great footy stuff. The footy noises coming out here at North Hobart Oval as the crowd starts to steam in. Only $5 to get in, so if you're watching locally, come on down. It's 17 degrees here today. The ground is looking resplendent. It is magic. And there's a big game of footy coming up shortly. And it comes for Hall. Hall gave a handball to a player that was in trouble. Freestone's been really good for the North. Sends it long. Going back with the flight there was Schiltz. The ball just bounced away from her. Through came Perry King. She gets herself into trouble, then gave a handball off to Wagner, who was in even more trouble. Schiltz got a rush kick. Now a chance wheeling around is Salzburger. She kicks it towards goal. It's the first goal for the North since the second term, and it goes to Lucy Salzburger. Something to celebrate for the Northerners. And it started way back in the middle with Jaslyn Freestone. She's been one of their best for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Worked really hard all game. Early bleeding nose and jumper change, but worked really hard, rucked really well, and rucking on rotational rucks too, which is not easy to do. She's doing it out there pretty well by herself, but ruck roving her own footy and having a crack, that's really good from her today.
And only had the one goal since really the opening few minutes of this match. They kicked 2-1-13 in the opening few minutes, just the one goal since then, and that's going to be the second structural free kick against after a restart, so it'll go the way of the NTFA. Pumped forward and a nice mark taken there by Salzburger. Too far out to score, so just stands one up. Archer there to defend it. Back to Salzburger. She spun around, just got the handball away. Lamb sharked it. Ball wouldn't sit for Reed. Salzburger goes in again. Repeat efforts here. She's fighting to the final siren. No disputing that. There's going to be a stoppage just outside the paint of 50. Freestone beaten by Smith. Didn't get much purchase on the kick. Hill can't get there. Trying to escape. Was pre-sure, but she's going nowhere. Freestone. Smith, now Hill. Fired the handball, just a bit too sharp for Lefevre, and then she's brought down by Clark. Webster's handball. Shark by Lefevre. Now Clark comes away with it, kicks it wide. Might sit here for Preshaw. Preshaw straightens up, sends it in. It's a nice ball and finds King, who snuck forward. And she's a thumping kick. Here's Perry King. Well within her range. So Perry King looking to add another one. Her side sixth of this final quarter. She'll kick from around about 35. Just got too close to the player in the mark there, and Corbett who shut it down. King follows up, fired the handball out to Webster. She's stripped of the football but worked it across to Lamb. Lamb closes in on goal and fires through another one for the SFL. And they extend their lead back out to 69 points. Another one for Maddie Lamb. And they're sixth of the final quarter.
She's been outstanding, Maddie Lamb. Perry King obviously just got a little too close to the player on the mark there, Erin. But the follow-up work from the support around her with Gemma Webster and Perry King to get it over the top to Maddie Lamb was outstanding.
Absolutely. And that's Webster and King are known for that. They work so hard in and under the contest. They're often at the bottom, so it's hard to see the impact they actually have. But those connecting handballs to Maddie Lamb, who's running off centre half back, by the way, has kicked to her from the back line. So, you know,
Unreal.
What do you do with that?
Not much you can do. Freestone can't gather the footy. Out it comes now for Hill. They popped away and nobody knew where the footy was. Smith got it though and hits it off to Clark. It only went about 3 metres, so Clark plays on quickly. Down towards Grace White. We know she can take a mark like that as easy as you like. Now she wheels around. Short kick down towards Limbrick and co. Mitchell couldn't take the mark, and running away with it is Mitchell Grimer. She clears the kick to centre wing. The ball just sits up and eludes a number of players, but Hayley Baldwin sits underneath it and sends it back inside forward 50. Grace White going back with the flight, takes a screamer. She's a little hurt, but that's a great grab.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. That hurts, to put it nicely.
Unbelievable mark, going back with a flight, just got underneath it in Angelica Clark. White looks up, plays on, and pops it right up to the top of the square. Mitchell underneath it, miffs it, Can't keep the footy in. It rolls out of bounds for a ball in. What a catch from Grace White.
Yeah, going back with the flight, such a brave thing to do because you just don't know what's coming up from behind.
Yeah, she is dominant in the air. The umpire gets a lot on that throw. They're going to go again. Absolutely hurled that one back into play. Miles over the ruck's head, so we'll go again. They threw that one back to the paint of 50. Murgatroyd.
Win might have got it.
Murgatroyd and Freestone will contest this one. More accommodating. Neither ruck can get hands on it. Mifsud there. So too Clark looks to shrug free. Handed it off there to Preshaw. Preshaw just gets a kick away, but turns it over. A relieving mark taken by Mitchell Grimer. Creswell in some space. That's where she heads. The perceived pressure, though, from Sakina just forced the drop mark. Cleared our defensive 50. Too much on it, though, for Krushka. Lamb tried to put the bump in on, went past the ball. Krushka got it, handed it off to Hill. Can she gather cleanly? Couldn't quite. Wagner now, and Webster, and Lamb sets it high up inside the forward 50. Murgatroyd couldn't quite. Freestone in there. Can't shrug free. Tossed up inside the forward 50 again as we tick towards the conclusion of this one.
Ball up inside forward 50 for the South. Murgatroyd gets told by the umpire where to stand. Not sure I agree with that. Clark got a handball off to Bingham. Ended up throwing it according to the umpire. And Hill will get a free kick. Coros for 50, but the umpire says nothing doing. Hill with a long kick down towards Bowman. Archer ran underneath the footy. Chance here for Georgia Hill. She gave a handball off. Nicely running was Lefevre. Lefevre's kick goes over the top. Schultz, though, jumping over the ball was Baldwin like it was a hurdle. She might have been in a steeplechase. Bouncing ball, collected nicely here by, I think that's Lehman. And taking the mark is Archer. There's numbers in the middle corridor everywhere for Rachel Archer, but she decides to send it back to where it once came. Gathered here by Corbett. Baldwin takes the mark. Baldwin's kick down towards Grace White. She dodges past a number of players, gives it off to Bingham. Bingham's tackled, and that's a throw. Free kick going to Brewitt.
So Brewitt from half-back just stabs a short pass. Krushka continuing to work hard, and that's a nice kick down the wing. On a marking target. This one's worked back into the middle of the ground. Straight to Maddie Lamb, though. And Lamb just charges off through the middle again. Spreads it wide for Perry King. As Molly Mitchell working up for her. Mitchell just gets underneath the kick a little. Need to talk here as Clark and Sakina both went for the same ball. That could have been very nasty. Hill now charges away with it. Kicks to where some numbers are building for the NTFA. They'd like an advantage here because they've got a couple open inside forward 50, but the umpire's going to bring it back. Bowman will take the free kick. So Bowman. And the NTFA find another consolation goal in the final couple of minutes of this one. High ball inside. Sulzberger there, so too Weinberg. Applying some pressure at ground level, but able to clear it as Webster. Just works it up towards Preshaw. Missed her, though. High ball into the pockets. Hines had two to beat. And it's off hands and out of play.
Just want to mention Stacey Schultz today. Hasn't had a heap of possession, but gee, she's been solid down back. She's been excellent. So the ball will come in. Couple of minutes to go as we get into junk time. It's a 69-point margin as it stands. Bouncing ball over the back. Hill tapped it on. Bingham will gather the footy. Scoops one out. Only as far as Lefevre. Handball again. Just got chopped off by the South. Rush kick by Smith. Should be coming straight back. Isn't. Grace White did really well. Bree Barwick got burrowed into the ground. And we'll see another ball up. Just forward of centre for the North. On the far wing of North Hobart Oval, and isn't it a picture today? Wouldn't believe it was the solstice today, and we've just started getting our days longer as Krushka gave a handball over the top. Lefevre goes past one, can't get past two, gets caught holding the footy. Hayley Baldwin, the recipient of the free kick. Baldwin looks up, long kick, looking for Murgatroyd. Bouncing ball, it sits up for her nicely. Look at the levers go. She has a bounce if you don't mind. Sends the ball inside forward 50. Limbrick should rush into an open goal and does. Kicks her third of the day. And that was outstanding run from Luca Murgatroyd.
Just willing to take the game on there, Murgatroyd. Under some pressure, but willing to back herself in and have a bounce and kick it into the hot spot, ready for Jacinta Limbrick to gobble it up.
What can you tell us about Luca Murgatroyd? I think she's 16 or 17.
16, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a star.
Absolutely. Yes, she came across to Clarence this year in the under-18s, and Dean Webster, the women's coach at Clarence, spotted her pretty quickly and went, we'll have her, thanks.
15-10-100. The SFL run out victors by 75 points, 4-1-25. Goal kickers for the SFL, 3 to Jacinta Limbrick. Oh, hang on. Molly Mitchell kicked 4. Grace White had 3. 2 to M. Mifsud and Maddie Lamb, and 1 to Angelica Clark, who not only does she go away with her name in the paper for her goal, she'll probably be listed in the best. And she's got a new nickname to boot. For the North, it was 2 to Tisha Hines, singles to Lucy Salzberger and Deanne Krushka with 1. Better players, Erin Shivers.
Well, it's hard to go past Grippo for the South. I thought she had a terrific game and had so much of the footy.
Evie Bingham was good.
Evie Bingham was really good, really busy around
Perry
it.
King
was really good.
Grace White. You could go through the list.
You kind of can a little bit. And I also thought that... who am I looking for?
Come on, spit it out.
Maddie Lamb kicking a couple
from
the back line. It's really tough to man up against a side and defend against a side when you've got backline players kicking multiple goals in a game. That's really tough ask.
I thought Kelsey Hill, Lucy Salzberger were very good for the North. Freestone, though, for mine was best on, probably with Krushka, Andrew Calling.
Yeah, I thought Krushka was probably the best for the NTFA. I thought she battled really hard all day, just didn't have enough going with her. But look, they were up 13-0 5 minutes into this game. They jumped the SFL and they absolutely looked on at that point. From that point on in the game, outscored 100-12 and 25 scoring shots to 2 from that moment on tells the story. The SFL, once King kind of seized control of that game, set up Molly Mitchell for 3 straight goals in the first quarter. They never looked back from that point on. They were ruthless, they were dominant, and they are deserving winners of the Bennett's Roofing Group Regional Series.
Well, I'm glad you got that little plug in. That is very, very good. Well done to Bennett's Roofing Group, who have been a big part of the Tas Rep Series. There'll obviously be some presentations downstairs, so we'll stick around for that. I just think they were just overpowered in that last 3 terms. It was 12 points at quarter time, 35 at half time, 38 points at 3/4 time, and the final term ending up with a 75-point victory. What will Craig Grace be most happy about there?
I think you'd be happy with the ability for that side to come together. So you're talking about players that play at so many different clubs and play on each other and against each other each and every week. But to have a side to come together like that, to play such cohesive football, to support in and around the footy and run past numbers and spread goal kickers across the board too, he'd be really pleased with how well they gelled together and able to actually play as a unit.
Well, they can't be too far away from the presentations. We can see the cup down there, the presidents. I don't think that the president of the NTFA, Peter Gutwin's down here, but David O'Byrne, the president of the Southern Football League, most certainly is. And look at Damien Gill down there getting his melon on the screen too. He loves it, doesn't he? Lives for it, this sort of stuff.
He's always bobbing up around the ground.
And look, one of the biggest bobbleheads of all time, Brent Costello, our MC extraordinaire, will be down there ready to go, no doubt. As he just tries to organise a few, he'll be getting who's the best players. We can see the Kingborough girls all together. How important is this rep footy for the Premier League clubs?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, settle down, Brent. Can't actually hear him. That sounds terrible. No, I can't hear him. Right, well, we'll find out as the players. But rep footy, for you as one of the assistant coaches at Clarence, what does this stuff mean to you? And what does it mean to the girls?
Well, I think it's really important. It's important and it's an opportunity for the regions to showcase the best that they have. And it's a real good booster to play with the best you have. And that's the feedback we get from the players coming back from trainings and these games, is it's just such an enjoyment to play with their opposition and to play with the best in the region that you can. And it's really enjoyable, and the girls love it.
And without a doubt, Andrew Cooling, there'd be people here from the Tasmania Devils who are looking to have a VFL side hopefully next year, looking through this group of players for the VFLW and just, popping a few in the memory bank for these sort of series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we saw some Devil staff at the ground here today, undoubtedly casting an eye on the future there.
We can say who it is. It's Todd Patterson's here. He's the list manager, isn't he?
I believe so. I think performances in these games where you're playing against, a higher standard opposition than you're getting week to week will be, a good way to put your foot forward. And I think we saw that in the SFL. Pretty dominant display from them today. A few players very much putting their hands up to be part of that group moving forward. So we'll see who gets the respective best on ground medals for each side here in this presentation now.
Yeah, we can't actually hear what they're saying because the speakers, unfortunately... Oh, look who's just turned up. Rumman's here. The Tassie Devil mascot, Rumman, is actually here. So the kids absolutely love Rumman. And there we go. It was... Hayley Brewart that got the best on field for the North. Yeah, Perry King, well deserved. She was outstanding, particularly when the pressure was on earlier.
Absolutely, and she was the turning point by popping her in the middle. She parked out the back there a couple of times. Some long penetrating kicks into the forward line, ready for Molly Mitchell to jump on the end of them and kick three. Put the SFL back in the game when it was looking a little dominant early on, to be fair. So, well deserved by Perry King.
How does Rumman, the mascot, get around? Like, what? Is he just parked in the back of a minivan or something like that? He's a big unit.
He is a big unit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's sort of cheering, a little bit of cheering going on for the South. I don't know about that.
You'd feel like you might need a bit of a sunroof or that sort of number for Rumman. He's pretty tall.
Bree Barwick, very good, the captain of the side. It would mean a lot to her to get the win twice in representative footy. Grace White, of course, getting her medal. Jacinta Limbrick, outstanding. A couple of goals to her name. In fact, 3 of them, all in the last term. Shiv.
Yeah, absolutely. She does love a little snag, Jacinta. So it was good to see her get on the end of a couple.
Gemma Webster, very good. Mackenzie Banks, didn't call her name too much today. She had a tough job of getting the footy because she was playing down back.
Oh, absolutely. But played a role.
She's actually in sneakers. So I wonder whether she might have been injured, perhaps.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Well, I didn't see her in the second half. No, I think that was... No. I mean, the ball obviously wasn't going down to full back too often, but I don't think she was actually out there in the second half.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Gee, Agnes Sakina nearly killed Bree Barwick. Was it Bree Barwick or was it... No,
Angelica Clark.
Angelica Clark and...
It was a real heart and mouth moment, wasn't it?
Who was it? Who was the other player?
I'm not sure. It was...
Yeah, Angelica Clark, yeah.
Both just eyes purely for the football, and it had disaster written all over it, so we're glad they're both okay.
Hayley Baldwin had a great game too, I thought.
Yeah, everything she touched turned to gold, didn't it? She didn't give the ball up at all. Heidi Preshaw's clearly a star too. She's one to watch for the future. And this one here, Evie Bingham, wow.
Yeah, she was
had
impressive
heaps
today.
of it. I thought she might have been one of the best on ground too.
We talk about those players who might be part of the VFL program going forward, and I'd have thought Evie Bingham and Luca Murgatroyd, given their ages, are two they're definitely going to be eyeing off as part of potentially that inaugural Devils women's team.
Yeah, Smith did well in the ruck, and there is Murgatroyd, who's got the old pink boot, yellow bill.
Love it.
I thought Stacey Schultz was good down back to Erin Shivers. You know what you're getting from her every single game.
You do. The physicality, and she'll put that pressure on, even perceived pressure sometimes from Schultz too, is enough to make the opposition cough it up, and she's so hard at it, and I certainly wouldn't want to be standing in front of her running at me.
And some of the others that are getting their opportunity there to get a medal too. Let's not forget this is a squad sport, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's important. You don't get there just with your 20. You need more than that, so it's well deserved that they're getting their medals.
Player of the series. Is that what that is?
Perhaps so. She did have 2 really good games, Maddie Lamb.
Yeah, no doubt. And they'll get their little trophy there. So the best in the state is the SFL. They run out victors by 75 points here at North Hobart Oval, as the players will have a few drinks tonight, no doubt, and they can celebrate. The Northerners will have to travel back up the Midland Highway, but at least they get to go across that brand new Bridgewater Bridge. How good is that? Well done.
That is not much of a consolation, Chief, but look, they'll probably look back on previous editions of this tournament where, you know, it's been living up north, this cup, for a little while now, and in the northwest, but the SFL striking back this year, and decisively so.
Yeah, happy with that. Well done to the south. Rumman just getting his head in there. Poor old Craig Grace. He's just got Rumman's nose right across his face. So well done to the south. Well done to all of those involved in this magnificent Bennett's Roofing Group Tasmanian Rep Series. On behalf of Andrew Cooling and Erin Shivers, my name's Tubes Taylor. We'll catch you at the footy. The men's game coming up shortly.